All right, joining me now here from Netroots Nation, here on the Matthew Filipowicz Show, is Demeeko Williams. Demeeko is a spokesman and coordinator for the Detroit Water Brigade, which is you can find at detroitwaterbrigade.org. Demeeko, thank you so much for talking with me today.
Thank you for having me on, Matt. Good to be here.
All right, so we've talked a little bit about the horrible situation of water in Detroit, a little bit on the show, but you're the one you're here in Detroit. We're here in Detroit now. Just lay out for everybody what exactly is going on with the supposed water shortage, which there's no shortage, but the cutting off of water here in Detroit.
Well, basically what's happening here is that the water department is being privatized. It is being sold off to the highest bidder, and to collect this $90.9 million with the extra $45 million that is being lost on delinquency, they're launching an aggressive campaign to collect on the delinquent debt. And the delinquent debt that they speak of, which is the 80% bad debt, comes from the corporations, the business entities, and they're trying to make low-income seniors and basically poor people pay the cost of that of the bad debt.
And so what they said is they're going to be, and some of these shutoffs have already been happening, but what they're saying is by the end of the summer, they're going to cut off all of these people's homes. How many people are we actually talking about? How many homes are we actually talking about?
This is 40% of the population in the city of Detroit. I mean, you have it like, different parts are going to go without water. There's already risk of public sanitation outbreaks. There's going to be diseases. I can't think of a very bad movie that could explain something about how when water shuts off and disaster strikes, this is true story. We have people that are very upset, that are angry that their water is being shut off, and they tried everything they could to be on the payment plan. They tried everything they could, they don't have the means to pay. What I don't understand why people could say, pay your bills, pay your bills. Well, pay your student loan debt, pay your credit card debt, pay your tax bills. Because I'm pretty sure you all on that one too. But I mean, the problem is that the water department has came off with narratives saying that people don't want to pay because they simply don't want to pay. They think water is a free service. That is farther from the truth. You have people that have lost their job. There's no jobs here. We live in extreme poverty. And I'm talking about poverty. I'm talking about literally rubbing two nickels together and praying to Jesus that your financial situation will improve over time. We have people that are literally having suicidal thoughts about, checking out of life because they can't provide for their children and all sorts of things. I have seniors that are literally falling into a realm of having heart attacks, stress, and worry because they don't know how they're gonna get this water. They need water to take their medication. They can't even afford their prescriptions, and due with everything else, this man-made bankruptcy, the consent agreement, this emergency manager, that's a dictator, a legal dictator.
Yeah.
It's really taking its toll on the city of Detroit, and Detroit has gotten worse. People think, I don't know where people say this new Detroit. I've been born and raised. I'm a child of Woodward Avenue. I've been here all my life, and I can tell you Detroit is getting better by the people, but it's getting worse by the infrastructure.
So talk a little bit about, you talked about some of the consequences, obviously, people don't have, one of the things I read about is that it's actually sort of even unreported because some people, because by law, you can't have kids in a place without water, which makes sense, but so even some people might not even be reporting that their water's being shut off, that it's actually, the numbers might actually be higher than it's being reported. So
Yes, they are higher. First of all, the water department says that 60% of people who had their water shut off come right in and they pay their bill, but 48% of them got their water shut back on in the next 48 hours. Well, for 90,000 to 120,000 Detroiters, that's a pretty big number, and I'm pretty sure that folks that are, unable to come down, they don't have no transportation.
Yeah.
Detroit really doesn't have cars, and people that live in the neighborhood can't bike around certain areas like we could downtown here.
Right.
So, it's a large number of people that have lost. I can't put a number on it, but it happens like in different parts and sections. It's 3,000 to 5,000 shutoffs per week.
Wow.
And we're trying to get around and minimize the number as much as we can. Then also you have the CPS, the contractors are calling Child Protective Services, reporting the address, and, if they see like small children or if they see toys scattered among the yard.
Yeah.
So CPS is out at your house within 48 hours, and they come in with the police. As I seen yesterday, I seen them riding around. Now they have police escorts, and if you try to, protect your children, shield them, whatever, then the police will come arrest you. Now you're in trouble with your rent because you had to take some of that money. People are in conundrums like, do I pay my water bill? Do I pay my rent? Do I pay my water bill? Do I feed my children? Do I pay my water bill if I'm a senior? Do I get my prescriptions? Do I pay my water bill or do I get my necessities? Do I pay my water bill or do I get my gas? You know what I'm saying? If I have a car.
Yeah.
And it's that many. I want to say it's economic genocide. That's what's happening here.
Yeah.
If it ain't about corporate colonialism that took over the city of Detroit and everything in it, if it ain't gentrification, this is the bigger plan of gentrification, and I call it flushing out Detroiters.